We're probably less recognizable than you now, being on every night.
I doubt that.
You're on every night, you kidding?
But it doesn't make any difference, because when you were on, you had 35, 40, 50 million people. I'll never forget the time that you came to Los Angeles. I was working there for Channel 5, and you were giving a concert at, I don't remember where it was. Hollywood Bowl, is that right?
Thank you.
And there were the lines for the tickets, and there was all the attendant publicity prior to the appearance and everything else. And one of our reporters went out and covered all this, and he came back and he said, it's going to be wild out there tonight. And I, because I'm not very smart, went on the air, and I said, well, if you'd like to know where the Beatles are, call this guy, and his home number is. And I mean, his phone didn't stop ringing for 4 days. It was just an obscenity. And I wish that if he's watching, I'm sorry I did that. And so your viewability or your visibility is so tremendously high, or at least was then, and I just wondered if it had kind of slopped over into your career now.
No, I mean, I can get around now, you know. I'm glad, too. I don't miss it. I'm glad it happened, but I don't miss it.
Yeah, in spite of the boredom, in spite of the fact that maybe there were little dissensions, those were good times for you.
Oh, huh? yeah. I mean, the boredom was in the music. I mean, that came after all the Beatlemania.
Did you save your money?
What we could get our hands on, yeah.
What do you mean, what you could get your hands on?
Well, a lot of it got siphoned off before we even got near it, you know. I mean, we didn't know anything about business or anything like that, you know, and there's a lot of money. There's a lot of millionaires around this world, so, yeah. But that's part of the action, too.
I'll try to make this the last question I ask about the past and about the Beatles. You must watch what your former colleagues are doing, and do you derive satisfaction from it? Are you happy for their successes?
Yeah. I'm most happy, I guess we all are in a way, for Ringo's success, because the other three of us, you know, it always went round Ringo was dumb, but he ain't dumb. But he didn't have that much of a writing ability, and he wasn't known for writing his own material. And there was a bit of a worry that, you know, although he can make movies, and he does make movies, and he's good at it, that's how was his recording career going to be? And in general, it's probably better than mine, actually, so he's doing all right.
And what's amazing is that he's done it with some songs that were popular when you and I were both teenagers in this country.
A lot of You're 16 and things like that, stuff that... Yeah.
Oh, My.
Well, I think he wrote that. Is that an oldie?
Only You?
Oh, Only You. I suggested that for him.
You did?
Yeah.
Now, why is it that those songs done by Ringo Starr achieved this popularity when they were popular 20 years ago?
Because a good song is a good song.
Okay.
You know, and you can jazz it up or do it with whatever rhythm you like. But if the song is there, it stands.
When musical groups become successful, or musicians, or really when anybody in the public eye becomes successful, immediately there are rumors about their personal lives, and I suppose the fact that some people are caught in the possession of certain unlawful substances like marijuana or cocaine or LSD or speed. A lot of people say that's all they do. They smoke a lot of grass, they eat a lot of LSD, they're all acid heads, and they're all rocked out. How much of it is there going on in truth?
I wouldn't know, you know. I mean, what do I know?
Come on, John. Come on.
I know as much as you.
Come on.
In truth, how much of it goes on where? You know, it depends where.
Well, in your little coterie of friends.
My friends are as clean as a whistle.
I'm sure they are, as a hound's tooth, in the words of General Eisenhower. But
I'd say there was as much dope in the music business as there is in virtually any other business now. That dope is so out in the open that you can go anywhere and it's there. So there's no sort of underground movement of people taking dope, you know. The most extraordinary straight people are taking dope, including cocaine. It's available anywhere at any time, and it's all over the place. If you want it, you can have it.
And it's no more predominant or prevalent in your industry than it is in insurance, in retailing, and in selling tires. Is that what you're saying?
I think you'll find a lot of middle-class people in their mid-30s who grew up in the 60s have marijuana and now cocaine around like you'd have a glass of wine. You know, I'm not saying it's good, you know, and cocaine's not too good for you at all, you know, but I'm saying that it's there, and a lot of perfectly, quotes, ordinary people use it.
If you were to be approached by the National Council on Drug Addiction, or whatever the name of the agency is, to make one of those little films that run on television. You'd say, "Hi, I'm John Lennon, and I like to tell all young people that dope is a bummer and cocaine is bad." Would you do that? I mean, do you believe that strongly in that?
It would depend how the advert was made, you know, because you can't bull blank the kids, because they know more about dope than I do now. There's drugs on the market that I don't even know what they are, you know. And so if it was done the way I would like to do it, I
How would you like to do it?
I'd have to think about it. I'd have to talk to whoever asked me to do it, you know. I mean, it's no good me saying, "Hey, dope is bad, don't do it." You know, they say, "What? So what? Who are you?" Yeah.
Well, you have a certain following among young people, and they might listen to you, whereas they would not listen to Yasha Heifetz, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but people, there's an illusion that just because somebody buys your record that they're going to do what you tell them. It doesn't work that way. If I tell them, go jump in a river, just because they buy my record?
No,
you know,
not at all.
right?
But certainly, you'd be surprised how people who appear on television or people who appear before audiences are looked towards for some kind of personal insight into the world or their own lives that a lot of times those people don't even have.
Yeah, they might ask questions of famous people, but in actuality, you cannot tell people anything. They have to find out for themselves. I mean, you can leave signposts saying, you know, it's dangerous here, or you can fall over there, but in reality, you know, it's no good telling people anything. They have to find out.
What part did drugs play in leading to the present circumstance in which you find yourself? And I think we can tell that part, and then we'll bring
Leon Wilds.
Mr. Wilds out, and he will be here for the discussion of your immigration procedure.
In the late 60s, there was a headhunting cop who was not very high up in the drug department in London, which was pretty new anyway. They had 2 dogs for the whole department. And he went round and bust every pop star he could get his hands on, and he got famous. And some of the pop stars had dope in the house, and some of them didn't. It didn't matter to him. He planted it or did whatever. Later on, that's what he did to me, because at that time I didn't have any drugs. And
he planted something in your house. He planted marijuana in your house, didn't
now
he? Or you say he did.
Yeah, I mean, I say he did. I know.
Well, I have to say that because I wasn't there.
Well, he's not going to get us. We're in America, all right? He's in jail now, by the way, because he later got to be top dog, and he had a big drug scandal thing going, like the one that was going over here, the big investigation in the New York police when I was first here, the one, the Serpico thing. Well, we had a little one in England, which happened after I left, and he was caught in Australia trying to escape. You know, the English always run to Australia thinking they're going to vanish there. So he was caught. And I didn't think
Can't vanish in Australia. Everybody knows it's down there.
Yeah, but they always have the illusion if you go to Australia, you get away with it. You know?
Sure.
And I at the time didn't even think I was bust. And to cut a long story, that he planted me. To cut a long story short, I'd just moved into an apartment, and I'd had everything moved from my other apartment. It was all over the place. So I thought, well, maybe this is a bit of the hash that was left over, and I'd forgotten all about it. Possibly that was what happened, you know. And I just copped a plea, you know. He said, I won't get you for obstruction if you cop a plea. And I thought, oh, it's $100 or whatever, you know. It's no skin off my nose, little thinking it would reverberate. And he said, oh, you know, I'll let your missus go, you know, because they never... In England at that time, the law was, if it was in this building, Mr. NBC would be caught for it. You know, he was responsible for it, even if he wasn't living there. That was the law then.
Do you mean that if an officer of the law were to come in here, and they were to find an unlawful substance upon these premises, John, that the president of this television network would be liable to arrest if that law were in effect?
That was an English law at the time. That's been changed. So you better put it out.
No, this is... No. Oh, come on. Don't do that to old Tom. See that old filter there,
everybody
folks?
knows
Got the writing right here on the paper. Now, come on.
We all know you're a nicotine addict. Anyway, the guy planted me, and it didn't dawn on me till later, till I called a few friends who'd also been busted and said, did you have stuff? One of them said, yeah, I did have stuff. It was on the table. They didn't even notice it. They planted a whole pile in my bedroom. You know, he had it out on the table, some marijuana. So the guy was a rip-off, and he's in jail, and half that drug department's in jail, too.